Hey, it's Drink with Derek with my buddy Al Jackson, who is a comedian friend of mine from years ago down in South Florida, and now is one of the hosts on the TV show, afternoon TV show, Daily Blast Live. And this is so cool to have you on, man. It's so good to see you. It's got to be at least, 9 years since we've actually seen each other in person?
Dude, it's good to see you, buddy, man. Yeah, it's been about that long. And I think when I was out at Vegas the last time, you make those Vegas plans like let's meet up at 3, and then you're blacked out asleep in your room at 1:30 with your shoes on. So all your Vegas plans go away. So I think that's what happened last time.
I think that's pretty much about right. What's it? So again, I know you from being a comedian when we were both down in South Florida. How does it feel now, you on television on an afternoon talk show, knowing that all these thousands of stay-at-home moms and retirees are secretly fantasizing about you?
That's ridiculous. It's so weird as you say that question. My girl randomly said to me 2 days ago, she was like, I kind of know that every time you're on, that there are people fantasizing about you. And as comics, I think we're just used to being stared at by audiences. So it's something you don't even think about. But it's
right.
It is weird because like we know us and we're like, you wouldn't want to be with this. This is, yeah, you like me for 50 minutes. You don't like the other 23 hours and 10 minutes where I'm a wild boy.
What is the weirdest exchange that you had meeting somebody who has seen you from television? Because it's different after a comedy show. People walk out of the comedy club and they say hi or whatever, and once in a while you have an odd exchange with somebody there. But you're out in public, you're at a restaurant, you're at Walgreens, and somebody comes up to you. What can you think of when the strangest exchange was that you had meeting somebody?
Yeah, it was early because like you're talking to me right now. You're in front of your computer in your room, and
Right.
I'm in front of my computer in my room, and you forget that this image and this signal is going somewhere. It's going, people see you, but you're
Right.
so used to being alone, or just even when you're on stage, you don't realize it, and you forget that there's an audience behind those cameras. And this is back when I was at my old apartment, and I was getting in my car in the parking lot, and where like you have the door open and you're about to put your foot in so you can sit down, and this guy who he looked creepy when I was, we've lived in so many major cities. I live in New York, LA, Miami.
Sure.
And so, you always had that big city spidey sense of like, okay, keep an eye on that dude. What are those two guys doing over there? What's happening? That's a weird thing. I'm just going to walk. It looks like there's a drug deal happening. That's not my business.
Right.
And so, like, I just noticed him, but, just living my life. And so I open my door and I turn around and Derek, he's 2.5 feet from me at this point. And it's that weird thing where like the car is kind of surrounding me, so I can't go anywhere. You can't get your hands up or get out to create some space. And he I think he noticed how like on guard I am, or I was. And he goes, "Oh, dude, I just want to tell you, I'm a big fan of the show." And first of all, he did not look like he's not our demo at all. And I'm glad he watched. But it's just like, it shows you that like he knew me because he's hearing my goofy voice every day for an hour, but I didn't know him. So he walked up to me the way you would approach a friend, like, "Hey man, what's up, man? We're gonna go to the game." And so, but I'm like, well, I loved my kids. I'm dead now, so that's it. So it's been a good ride. I'm gonna get killed in front of a bank.
That's where it all ends.
Yeah.
What? Now we met when we were both down in South Florida. You're both doing comedy, and then obviously you had moved out to, I think, Los Angeles or New York at the time.
Probably
I can't
New York.
remember.
I went to New York first. Yeah.
Right. I mean, how did you end up being from a straight stand-up to now being a co-host on this show? And obviously you do call-ins with Bob and Tom and stuff like that, and we'll get to that here in a little bit. But I mean, how did this transition? How did this door open for you to be where you're at now?
Man, just random, bro. Just super random. Because excuse me, I don't. I drink sparkling waters now, so you're gonna have to edit the air burps. But I started in South Florida. Got a 30-minute special on Comedy Central, went to New York. Got a job writing on Shaquille O'Neal's old show on True TV that only did a season. It was called Upload with Shaquille O'Neal. But that took me out to LA. It took me and the family out to LA. And I'm out in LA bouncing around doing shows for True TV and doing stand-up and just kind of being a stand-up that occasionally appeared on TV. And I got a call to do a show that was called The Happy Hour. And they were looking for, they wanted to do a show that was going to compete with The View, but the thing was it was going to be 2 men and 2 women. And after all the auditions, they ended up picking me, who's the super least famous person on the panel. Was me, the singer Khalees, the woman, my milkshakes bring other boys to the yard, like her, who she's super great too. And Lisa Rinna from The Real Housewives. And I don't know if you know who Scott Wolf is. He's an actor. You've seen him in everything. He was in that show Party of Five back in the day. But yeah, Scott. So it's going to be the 4 of us. And the way show business works is, you got it, Derek. You got to sign your contract before the show starts taping, just so that you don't have leverage over them. So this is NBC syndication, Derek. It's booked. It's dumb money, stupid, smack your mama money. Just like, okay, like you start like, okay, I can buy my mama house kind of stuff. And so I'm like, well, I'm good. I'll see you later because I'm killing it. And so we're practicing. We're going to shoot on the Access Hollywood lot, and we have like 10 months till we start going live. And about a month before we start shooting, I got a text from my ex-wife. She's my wife at the time, and I was out at a nightclub, hammered, and she's like, "Did you check your email?" And I was like, yeah, that was a weird question, but no, why would I check my email? She was like, check your email and call me back. So I was like, I step in the bathroom of this nightclub, and just, I'm on cloud 9, my life's about to change.
Sure.
And you just read that first sentence and it's bad. It's just like, we regret to inform you. And I'm just like, what? And I had to read it a couple times, probably because the page was moving. And, basically they decided to keep Days of Our Lives on the air. And we were not going to get greenlit. And I mean, this is like, we're getting notes from the network like, the president loves this show. We are going to put everything we have behind. We think this is the future. So, and it's just like, I mean, the life, it just drained out of me. I was like, like the next morning, you're like, okay, well, I had some drinks. Maybe I dreamed that, or just lying to yourself. And I realized like it was true. Right. And what I did was I did what stand-ups do, man. I went right back on the road and toured for another 2 years. And one of the producers from that show that didn't get picked up thought about me and wanted me to audition for this new show that was starting in Denver called Daily Blast Live. You have to remember at this point, this is not a thing. And I remember when my agent sent me the offer just to audition, I told him no. I was like, first of all, I'm not moving to Denver. Like, what are you talking about? And so he's like, okay, cool. And I went to Australia with Hannibal Buress, touring with him. And then I did a USO tour, which I know you're real familiar with.
Yeah.
And the way my visa worked is I couldn't go straight from Australia to Japan, where the USO tours was. I was going to Okinawa. I had to fly back from Australia to Los Angeles, sit in the airport for like 6 hours till my visa cleared, and then fly back to Japan. And brother,
that's convenient.
It killed me. And man, we're on planes our whole life. And I'll never forget the time when I was coming back from Japan. That was the first time on that flight where I was just like, I don't know what burnt out is, but I think this is what it feels like.
Right.
And I landed, called my agent, was like, hey man, what's up with that thing in Denver? And they were doing the auditions in LA. So he's like, yo, it's still on if you want to audition. I was like, sure. Because I was like, man, maybe if I can get the show, I can just take a year off the road and just like eat not quesadillas, and just like, so I booked the show. The show goes, daytime TV is impossible to break into. I think they said, and it's like crazy to even think about, there have only been 2 daytime shows since the year 2000 that have stuck, which is Ellen and Dr. Phil, because that market is so entrenched. It's the Price is Right and Days of Our Lives and Bowling, like
all the soap operas and everything else. Yeah, absolutely.
They've been on for 34 years. What are you going to do? Break in with the new Derek Richards show? Like there's no room. And so we did the first year. I was like, okay, well that's cool. And then there was this. You could just tell everybody's like, well, when are you going to tell us we're canceled? And then because our ratings weren't great at the time. And then they were like, well, we're going to do season 2. So it was like, all right, well, I guess we're doing this. And then season 2, we just got much better. We had a couple of changes of personnel, and that really helped things just elevate. And here we are, season 3 headed into season 4. And dude, I'm like a different person. But yeah, that's the long story long.
That's awesome. Now, what network is this on? I remember working out at the gym, and I can't remember. I looked up at the TV, and I just saw you on there.
Yeah, we're on most NBC affiliates, and some ABC affiliates, and we're only in 71 cities, I think, at this point.
Right.
But you can always watch it Daily Blast Live, so you can watch the live feed on Facebook, which is actually how most people watch us.
Right.
Broadcast, man, it's like I think, and this is me strictly talking out of my butt, but I really think that if our show had to make a decision on whether to be on TV or be online, I think it would be online. That's how people watch. People watch you. They just minimize you in the corner of their iPad and they keep working.
Right.
So it kind of brings in that other market of people kind of watching you at lunch or watching you while they're typing and stuff.
Oh, absolutely. What do you not miss about doing stand up at the clubs all the time?
Nothing. I miss it. I love it. Yeah. I still go out, and I actually changed because the first year we were working so hard. It's a brand new show. We started our studio was an empty. Hold on, move my camera. Our studio was the storage. It was one of those big storage sound stages,
Right.
But it was dark and dusty. There was nothing in there, so they had to build the studio from scratch, and so we were working basically from scratch. So we were starting at 7:00 in the morning. We were going to 8:00 at night.
Sure.
And for the first time in my life, man, I don't know how long, besides this nonsense you're dealing with, how long you've gone without doing stand-up, but I didn't do stand-up for me is a long time, probably 40 days.
Yeah.
And I remember you think, man, that you're your act, you can go, dude, I went back up, man, I was messing up punchlines. I was starting jokes with punchlines and working backwards. You're just rusty, dude.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm not going to do this. So what I did was I switched my schedule up, and I became one of those people that I used to make fun of. I started taking naps. So I almost kind of split my day in two. I'll do the daytime talk show, take a 35, 40-minute nap because I'm 40 effing 2.
Right.
And I can't go all day. I take that 45-minute hour nap, and then that's stand-up mode, and I go do stand-up, whether it's an open mic or a show, whatever, man. I can't leave stand. I don't know how you hear about all these celebrities and they're like, yep, celebrity X who was a stand-up and now a movie star hasn't done stand-up in 10 years and he's coming back. I'm like, how did you do that?
Yeah.
I can't make it a month. I miss it. I miss a family member that passed away.
No, it's a great outlet to have. And especially, I mean, obviously for what you're doing, you're on television, but you can't say everything that you want to say, obviously.
Yeah, you better.
You're like, okay, this is daytime TV. No, we can't talk about this, or this.
It's weird what you can say though. Do you know, I didn't know all the rules. You can say pissed off, but you can't say pissed on. So you can say you can say piss.
Okay.
But you can say pissed on, but you can't be pissing on somebody. So you can't say I can't believe Derek said that, man. I'd piss on him if I saw it. You'd be in super trouble. But you can say Derek pissed me off. Nobody. So it's so weird. You can say douchebag, but they don't want you to say scumbag. And I didn't realize you can't call somebody a scumbag because the original origin of scumbag is a used condom, which I think was in the 30s. Did you know that? No, yeah. So it's a used condom. Which
I gotta start calling more people scumbags then.
Yeah. So scumbag, I thought was a nice way to call somebody a dick.
Yeah.
But then when you do Bob and Tom will call somebody a dick, and I'm like, you can call somebody a dick?
Wow. How long you been doing Bob and Tom now? Because that's where we actually, I was on the show, and then you had a call in. I'm like, I had no idea at the time that you were. I'm like, Al Jackson's coming on. I'm like, Al Jackson. And now, how many days a week do you do that for those guys? I call in every Thursday at 8:20 Mountain Time, so it's 6:28. Wait, am I doing that math right? No, it's I don't know. I call in on Thursdays. Damn it, Thursday morning.
Yeah, Thursday mornings. And
on Bob's website, you'll find out when Al calls in.
Yes,
what's
Al
the name of the segment? The segment's hilarious. What's the name of it?
I try and teach Tom. We should really name it, but really it's just like I teach Tom like just kind of like street slang and just slang in general and pop culture. Yeah, right. And like he because I think it took people a long time to realize, and long-time listeners know, Tom's not playing a character. Like Tom really does not anything, not only urban, but pop culture, probably anything before 1999. It's just like, it doesn't, he's not into that. Tom's into what he's into. So like the way he works and the reason he's been so successful in radio is he really does try to be good at everything. So he really does try to like use the words, and he like learned a few. He knows some now. So it's been fun, man.
It's hilarious. He's very authentic. Yeah. The person that you hear is the person that you get. Now you
can't BS people every day for 4 hours a day. You can't do it.
Now you were a school teacher. Would you ever go back to doing that?
Oh man. I love teaching. It's like, man, you love teaching, but the pay is not commensurate for what you need to do to sustain yourself. I saw that then when I taught from, I don't know, 2001 to 2006.
Right.
And, it's just like every teacher I knew there had a second job. They did this pre-Uber. That's how old I am. Like, so teachers did taxes, and stuff like that. Because, for what we deal with, it's just, it's not enough. And then after school, like you got papers. If you have 6 classes with 35 kids in them, think of them. If you assign 3 essay questions, then that's, how many? That's 600 questions. Yeah. So it's a lot of work, man. So, I miss the kids. If they could make it so that I could do something every once in a while, I'll roll in when he feels like a teacher. I'm in. Where's that job? Shit.
What frightens you? Ventriloquists, vegans, or Whoopi Goldberg?
Ventriloquists. And I'll tell you why. I don't like, because it's clearly an outlet for another personality.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't make any sense, because if you're walking down the street and a homeless man yells at you and then switches characters and starts yelling at you in another voice and another tone with another personality behind it, you'd be like, okay, that's crazy. But if he grabs a puppet, it's all good. Like, nah, that's super weird, man. And it's like, I mean, it's entertaining. Shout out to Jeff Dunham. He's made $1 billion doing that, and people love it. My boss is obsessed with ventriloquist dummies. He's got like old like Buffalo Bill stuff. Like he's a true television historian. But dude, that's not my thing. I can marvel at the skill, but I think it's like there's something in there. Like there's another personality in you. That's weird. That's weird, man.
When we were talking on the air, you were looking to pop into Vegas. I think it was that week, like a couple weekends or something after we had talked when I was on Bob and Tom. And we never ended up connecting. And then I said, I do this show called The Drink with Derek when I had texted you the other day. You're like, yeah, I'll do it. Hey, I quit drinking. And I'm like, because I remember it was like back in November when you and I were talking back and forth about hooking up. Now, you stopped drinking.
And that's sexually we were talking about hooking up.
Yeah, technically. Yeah, we talked about it. This goes back to, I think, the late Vegas plans when you waking up at 3 a.m. with your shoes on and all the plans are screwed up. Something like that.
Yeah, man.
What's the biggest thing you noticed since you quit drinking about yourself?
I can remember stuff now. Honestly, that's the biggest thing. I really, and in a weird way, I was thinking about it because I was looking forward to coming on the show. I was like, I don't even know if it's accurate to say I don't drink anymore. I just feel like you have a certain amount of drinks for your whole lifetime. Right. I just decided to drink all mine in 14 years. It's like if you have like a plate of wings and you eat all your wings, you don't not eat wings anymore. You just don't have any.
Right.
And I feel like that's what I did. I drank all my drinks and I didn't pace it. I didn't know. I thought there'd be more. So the universe cut me off. So that was that. But yeah, it was just, I can remember stuff now.
Right. You put up Hall of Fame numbers in a very short period of time.
I really did. I was the Terrell Davis of drinking. I did it in 6 seasons, bro. Hall of Fame, baby.
You didn't rush for 20,000 yards over 10 years. You rushed for 21,000 in 5 years.
Yeah, most people are Frank Gore. I'm Terrell Davis.
Well played. Well, you're a huge sports fan. You're from Cleveland.
Yeah, go Browns.
Name the 3 worst professional Cleveland athletes in your mind.
Oh,
ones that have either broken your heart or ones that you're like, why did we ever sign this guy?
Definitely the first one that comes to mind is Danny Ferry. I'm going to lose a lot of guys if they don't really watch basketball. Danny Ferry was a big draft pick out of Duke, and he had a great college career, but we traded for him. One of my favorite Cavs of all time, Ron Harper. Ron Harper then became number 9 and went to those Bulls and was a key part. He did one of those kind of reinventions of your career where you're not the athlete you were, but you still have the brain of basketball. Sure. Almost like what's his name from Golden State? I always forget his name. He got it towards Sean Livingston. Yeah. Where you can just kind of what pass to make, how to play D. So but Ron Harper was a phenom when he played for the Cavs. So I was really, really sad when they traded him. So really wasn't Danny Ferry's fault. Right. The next one is what's his name? The big white running back we had that I was in love with. He had the one great season. Do you remember him? He was on the cover of Madden. That's what a great season he had. All right, we will. One of our. I got to look this up. All right. But yeah, he had maybe one of the best seasons a running back has ever had. I'm just going to put in Brown's white running back. He was huge. Peyton Hillis. Do you remember Peyton Hillis? He was on the cover of Madden.
No.
Yeah, he had
What year was this? This had to be.
This was. Let's see. He's 34 now. Let's go to his Wikipedia. He's in the third thing down in his Wikipedia is 15 greatest white running backs. That's awesome.
Which oddly enough, there are only 15 great white running
backs. That's right. There's only 15 total. So we made that
15 list altogether. So it's like, hey, screw it, you're on the list.
Yeah, Derek, you're the 16th best white running back.
I'm the 16th one.
Yeah, and I don't know if you know, he was on that Arkansas team that had 3 great running backs. The other 2 went to one was like Felix Jones. You remember him from the Cowboys? There's Felix Jones, and then there was another guy who played Darren McFadden. So it was those 3. They had all 3 of those guys in the same team, and they didn't do anything that year. But he had. Let's look at Cleveland Browns 2008 to 2009. But he had.
Your memory is stunning now that you quit drinking.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Who remembers these guys?
But he was such a good player, and I think he held out the next year as running backs do because they only have such a short shelf life.
Right.
He wanted more money, didn't get more money, kind of lost his team at the locker room, if I remember, because he was saying he was hurt, and they were seeing him around town doing things that weren't hurt, not hurt people do. And that was it. That was people have phones, so they were seeing him.
The last guy.
Oh, without a doubt, Johnny Manziel.
Johnny Manziel. I knew that name was going to pop up there.
We're going to wreck this league. I'm not a second guesser. I'm not somebody that like looked at people and was like, oh, he's going to be great, and when they don't pan out, then I completely do a 180. I'm not a big fan of small quarterbacks. And, he had one of the best freshman years ever as a QB. But I just remember looking at his highlights, and like he had that one famous play where he like threw the ball. It hit somebody in the back of the helmet. He caught it. He caught his own pass he threw and then threw a touchdown. And I was like, I don't know if that's going to happen again. Like, I want to see somebody make 3 good reads and realize what the defense is doing and deliver an accurate pass. That's a much less exciting highlight, but it's more sustainable. And
you can't rely on having somebody's coconut in front of you all the time.
That's how you draw every play up. The coach has to draw every. You're gonna bounce it off this guy's ass. You're gonna catch it back. Yeah, it's and just like I remember, there was footage of him allegedly, air quotes, doing cocaine in the bathroom of a nightclub, like I think like a month or 2 before the draft, and it's like First of all, he's doing it with a $1 bill. I'm like, Johnny, you're a rich kid. Come on, let's get that 100 out. But also, it's just like they said his last game that he ever played for the Browns, it was a home game. I'll never forget. One of the beat reporters leaked that he showed up. It was a 1 p.m. kickoff at home in Cleveland. He showed up at the stadium at 11:30 a.m. Like guys were already on. Like fans are already there.
Right.
They're already there.
Yeah, it's bad when you're fighting fan traffic to get to the game that you're the quarterback for.
Yeah, I'm cool with Pat McAfee. He's a former punter for the Colts, and I've talked to him, and he's just like, dude, their guys getting taped up at like 7 a.m. for the game. And so Johnny he cost us a draft pick, and I think we moved up to get him, and that was a pretty loaded draft. We could have got some good players. So Johnny Manziel, I mean, I don't want to go after guys with substance abuse problems, but like, hey man, you about to invest that kind of money? Like,
right.
If I know this dude is tooting up, y'all better damn sure.
Al, you're awesome, man. I'm so happy for you. Congratulations with everything on Daily Blast Live, and get a chance to check that out. Go to the Daily Blast Live website, find out where you can get it. Get on Facebook and watch the amazing chocolate Easter bunny you have in front of you, and Al Jackson. Adorable, but the thing is, you're not hollow on the inside.
Oh yeah, I don't like. Look, my thing is, and this is the only good thing about Easter not really happening the way it normally did. Derek, I don't know if there's any food that you literally cannot control yourself. The chocolate Easter just Reese's things with the peanut butter in them. They come in the yellow package.
Epic.
I cannot stop. Like I will eat until I am sick. I'm not joking. So like that was the only the silver lining of this COVID is I survived another Easter.
Also, Bob and Tom every Thursday morning.
That's
Al
right,
Jackson,
man.
Buddy, you're awesome, man. You're fantastic. So happy for you, buddy.
Hey man, I love you. Let's do this again soon.
Absolutely.
All right, babe.